Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy CIZZ. You dig live action back at it again with another episode of the College Stutzer Show. And as always, as promised, every Friday I tell you guys I'm gonna come back with some fire guests. And I've done it again. This is like the 110th time I've done it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you about consistency, but here it is, babies. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it and have our guests introduce themselves. Let's go ahead and start with my guy, Rob. Go ahead and let the people know who you are, where you coming from. Say what's up to the audience.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rob Gauden, Rob Gauden Jr. Man, I know Colin came in kind of as a customer, as a client, man, and it was pretty cool. We had a little bit of a conversation, and it led to us being open to doing a podcast. This is the first public event that we've had since we started the business, but we felt his vibe was very genuine, and we just kind of wanted to take a shot, so.
I love it. Yeah, man. I love, number one, that this is your guys' first podcast you guys are doing in regards to the business. Makes me feel a little bit special. You know what I'm saying? But
definitely,
hopefully this episode can not only be the start of a relationship between us three, but also a opportunity for people to learn about you guys even more. We got audience in LA, audience in New York, audience in Chicago. Hopefully when people come into Kansas City to visit, they definitely pull up to the spot. But with that being said, Darrell, go ahead and, I don't know if it's Darrell or Darrell, so first off, apologies there, but go ahead and let the people know who you are, and shout out your businesses, shout out what you do, just say what's up.
I got you. All right, well, yeah, no, my name is Darrell Lamont Booker Jr. Actually, I'm a truck driver. As you see, I'm not in the traditional setting like y'all fellas are in, but I've definitely heard nothing but good things about you. I think when you came into the shop, Rob had called me and was just like, "Hey, man, this situation with you being on the table, like, is probably what we're gonna." So basically, what I'm saying is, we have I'm trying to get my words together correctly. We've always wanted to get the correct message out there in general to the public.
Yeah.
So with you being on the table and with us talking to God about it in general, it kind of aligned itself so perfectly that when you did come on the table, like, it was like, wow, this is not necessarily the opportunity that we were wanting, but this might give us the proper way to present the message that we want to get out to the public, because we have so much to offer the community. It's not just about us getting a pot of gold, it's about us really giving back. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, more as we go with the interview as well.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate both of you guys, taking the time out of your guys' day to pop in. I know you're working. I know my guy Rob is working. So thank you both for making some time for us today. So Darrell, I kind of want to start a little bit what we were talking about off air, a little bit about your story, and start with a little bit about sports, your early interest, and kind of do the same thing we kind of talked about before, and just transition, leave off where we started with the trucking, Miami, your business partners. I kind of just want the people to know a little bit about your background before we move forward.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, from Blue Springs, Missouri. I went to Blue Springs South High School. I was All-State my senior year. I was a Missouri All-Star where Missouri plays against Kansas. Man, I went to numerous of colleges. I went to Avila. I went to Missouri Valley. I went to Brown Mackey in Salina, Kansas. I went to Kansas City, Kansas. Yeah, so I definitely have an athletic background. I have a lot of knowledge in athletics in general. But I ended up trucking. Like, as much as I thought I was going to be a superstar on the court, or I was going to go D1, this, that, and the third, I ended up meeting a guy at Missouri Valley who was a really good friend of mine. We went through some things together in regards to, like, we were invested in stocks and stuff originally, and we took some major L's. I don't think we took any W's in stocks, but it created that bond amongst us. Like, hey, if you take an L, I'm gonna take an L with you, and we're gonna learn how to get past that L, right? So when I was at Avila, I was on the brink. I had just came back from ACL tear when I was at Missouri Valley. I was at Missouri Valley first before Avila. My last school was Avila. So after when I was at Avila, I was in the recovery stages, and I was just kind of unsure, like, hey, do I want to continue doing this, like giving this sport my all? Is this what is? Am I happy? And I wasn't happy. And so my partner now in trucking, his name is Lionel Deliska. Um, he um, he persuaded me. He was like, he pitched me. I'm not gonna say persuaded. He pitched me. What do you think about being your own boss? And when he gave me that thought, like when he placed that in my mind, I just it made sense to me. I let the Avila coach know maybe like 2 days later, like, hey, I've made this decision to, get my CDL. He was Coach Perry, is his name. He was nothing but supportive, and he understood where I was coming from. So ever since then, shoot, I worked at Prime Trucking, Prime Inc. is what I believe it is. I worked there for a few years, and then once I had my money saved up, I ended up going to live with my business partner now in trucking, Lionel. I lived at his house with his mom. On the floor, I had a little bed. I was comfortable. I was super comfortable, and they're Haitian, so they always, if they bring you into the house, you family. At the end of the day, so man, we grinded for, I would say, 3 or 4 years straight, where we didn't see sunlight at all. There was no sunshine. Like, we always had faith. Like, and that's one thing I'm really big on, is having faith in general, in God, within yourself. We always had faith, and we, Lionel can speak for himself, truly believe that we got to the point of, we end up splitting, getting our own trucks, and we don't know how that happened financially, but we know that we always have faith, and it happened like that, to the point where, you know years later, I've been trucking with 5, 6 years now, something like that. Shoot, I've owned 2 or 3 trucks at one time, like currently, so um it's incredible, the journey from where I personally come from not seeing sunlight to seeing sunlight, or thinking I see sunlight, but I've had more gloomier days as an entrepreneur than I've had as being stable financially. But I don't know what made me keep going on either. I just think believing in myself, and just really, like, my mom always instilled persevering in general, and I think that just stuck with me, because I know some people that they didn't make it, and it's understandable. It gets really tough, but I do want people to know that, like, if you can just get through them times, and just maybe find somebody to lean on, or vent to, or express it to, but if you can just get through those times, on the other end of that is going to be success. Like, and I can only speak for myself, because I can't speak about anyone else's faith. I can't speak about anyone else's journey. But if I'm going to tell anyone anything, I'm going to tell them to keep faith always.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to dive more in that, because I'm sure there's some powerful, even more powerful insights we can pull out of your story right there. But before we do that, Rob, kind of what's your background? Are you also a background in athletics? Are you also in trucking? Like, tell us a little bit about you and some of your interests, your early interests when you were in high school. And then also, let us know how life has transitioned since then.
Yeah. I mean, for one, I'll start off by saying me and Darrell, DJ, as I call him, are blood cousins. So even listening to his story, listening to him tell it, it's kind of cool to hear from a different angle, to hear on the podcast. Like, so I'm sitting here, like, maybe listening in amazement too, just kind of, listening to his process, because I would say with mine, it's, since I was a kid, I always knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I grew up in church, so I grew up with faith. And I just knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know where. And for me, I think preparation was the thing that I started working on. It was a couple of years, I'm 33. So I started approaching 30, and, some things with different jobs started happening. I've never been fired from a job in my life. I got fired from 2 jobs, I think in a 11 or 13 month period. And, some things just started changing, and I started locking in, so started reading the Bible every single day, making sure that I'm talking to God, and not only just, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, but started getting preparing myself for whatever opportunity was going to come. So I would say I'm probably the person in the books all the time, you know, and in school, I was the type, man, I could just sit in class and make straight A's, you know, straight A's and B's, just being there. So for me, I would say being an entrepreneur taught me a different side. It taught me the hard work angle. You know, so I don't, not to say it like that, like Darrell's a hard worker. So I'm not to him, it's just in my mind, like nobody's going to outwork me in anything. And I always had the talent. I would say basketball, man, I played basketball. I didn't have confidence, you know, coming up in school, man. I didn't have the confidence to be able to do it. In the background, I'm probably playing, dunking, everything that I do. But when I got in front of people, man, I probably froze. You know, so definitely, you know, when it came to being even in the forefront, man, I'm probably more of an introvert, not liking to be around people. But through this journey, it has brought me out of my shell. And on that journey, I would say me and Darrell DJ connected. We've always been cousins, obviously. We have a couple years, 5-year age gap. But on that journey, we just kind of locked in because we were in the same place. We both wanted something special. And we both knew that we wanted to be great. So I think that we connected even on a deeper level, from talking to each other every day to pushing each other, holding each other accountable. And that just became a special connection. And it just came to the point where I'm involved with, man, multiple different businesses. So I bought a truck as my first business because of
Nice.
so I bought a truck. I ended up selling the truck to actually Darrell's business partner, Lionel. You know, so it's just a little bit of connection there. So I bought a truck there, sold it to him. Darrell managed my truck. Darrell and Lionel managed my truck at one point. And even when Darrell's truck went down, DJ's truck went down at one point, he drove my truck at one point in time. So we were dealing with each other on a business end and not even knew it. But then, like I said, later on, fast forward, I had an opportunity with the barbershop business, the Edge Barbershop, with Jeremy Crockett and Brian Stewart are my business partners in that. And within that, Darrell kind of came into the fold. And we were going to kind of open that up and some other things. And then we were kind of developing a smoothie shop. I guess we told each other, like, man, we're going to do a smoothie shop together in 20 years. Like, whenever we're finally retired, whenever we're done with everything, we're going to put a shop up, because that was kind of our lifestyle. And for us, it was more about clean eating. It was about being healthy. We built the business about giving back to others. You know, even the employees that we have, we try to pour into in the community. Like, those are our goals. We haven't been able to do everything because we're a new business, but we had some really big goals. And I think we just connected on those things. And I think that's what made it special. And it became a back burner business. This was going to be a side piece, I guess you could say, to a business, to it becoming its own entity, because we put so much work in together. We were talking every single day, whether it was naming the business, whether it was coming up with the colors, whether it was logos, whatever it was, we made sure we was locked in. We had some kind of conversation. And Darrell said it, you know, I guess I can kind of say it like I'm a real estate agent too. So even in doing the deal, I did the real estate deal for us. So I'm involved in real estate, had a trucking company. I still have the company. I just don't have the truck. Skincare business, and then involved in the barbershop business. And at some point, they're all going to tie in and make sense. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I think for me, what I realized is that my background, it didn't make sense. You know, I worked at jobs from Target to warehouse jobs to insurance jobs, and I didn't understand like what this journey was going to be. But once I locked in, I just trusted God. And I think that now that we went into business together, or now that we're coming to the point that we come to, or getting to, that I realized that it just made me more well-rounded, you know, because I naturally wasn't like Darrell. Like, Darrell probably can walk up to anybody and hold a conversation with people. I was more that introvert, like more, you know, shy, more quiet, more like calm, easy going. And man, I Ubered. I mean, you know, when I first left my job, my corporate job, I was Ubering. And honestly, that's what gave me confidence with people again. That's what made me realize it was so many things throughout my journey that was like, that reassured me that God kind of blessed me, that God kind of instilled, you know, me to be comfortable, instill confidence. So if I can say anything, man, like, to anybody, your journey is always going to look different than what you want that outcome to look like. And just trust the process. Just like Darrell said, just trust the grind, just trust the process, just trust God that, or whatever you believe in, that at the end of the day, it's all going to work out, for the greater good. And I think that this is a testament, a testimony, whatever you want to say, to us putting plans together, us working hard and being prepared for opportunities. Like I said, this business was supposed to be a part of another business, and it became its own entity. And the day that we decided to do it, we prayed together and we decided, hey, do we want to kind of pursue this as its own entity? The day we prayed, I found the building, looked at the building, put in an offer, and we started that process of working on it. And we went through other disappointments with other buildings that didn't go well, that made me question, was I a good realtor? That made, us question things. But I think the thing about, the partnership that made it so special is, in the midst of questioning it, in the midst of all the problems that we haven't turned our back on each other. We remain brothers, we remain locked in. We have frustrations, even in the moment, still dealing with things. Things are not perfect, but we've always remained solid. We've always had that relationship to where we can talk to each other about whatever's going on and lock in together and figure out a solution.
I love that.
And I know I was all over the place.
No, you good. No, that's
one thing, Chris. Rob didn't say. My bad to cut you off.
No, it's good.
Athleticism wise, he's probably the fastest guy that hands down. He didn't mention that though, but he should have mentioned.
But he needed to mention.
I don't brag, but
he definitely needed to mention that.
I haven't lost a street race. Maybe on the track because I was running a 400, but I never lost one. That's just, that's just something to throw in.
We might have to do a little some type of business event where the CEOs or owners of business around Kansas City.
Oh, let's get it cracking. Hey, they don't want them problems.
They have like corporate Olympics, man. We might have to get that entrepreneurial Olympics.
We might have to make that shit pop. Exactly.
Let's do it. Tell all the big dogs, let's do it.
Man, and get some people to sponsor it. Whoever wins gets like a couple $1,000 given to their business or charity of their choice. We might have to make some that happen.
I'm all for the charity, or the business. Whichever way it works, I'm all for it.
We might have to make that happen. But thank you guys both for sharing your story. I mean, you don't, Rob, you apologize, but it's no problem. The whole point of this is really to be able to provide an opportunity, a platform for you guys to express yourselves, your journey, explain where you came from again, because other people, you mentioned you're 33, there might be somebody listening that's 23 and that's going through that same process where they've worked at all these jobs and they don't know the destination they're going towards, or they feel like they're confused about why they're working at all these different places. But to be able to hear somebody they know from the same town that they from, with playing the same sports they played, and looking just like them, went through the same situation, is so important. One of the major issues, in my opinion, and the Black and brown community, is a lack of I guess what's called exposure to individuals who are doing something dope, but have also gone through the same situation as you. So like for me, when I was younger, looking up and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life if I don't play sports. But then finally being exposed to Black and brown people that look like me, in trucking or opening up their own juice spot. And then I hear a podcast they did on my favorite podcast. And on that podcast, they talking about how they worked at Target for 6 years and didn't know where they was going. I'm like, shit, I'm working at a hotel for 5 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
One thing with me that not necessarily bothers people, but I wish I could make a difference with is with when people ask, how do you? Hey, how did you do that? I don't have a problem sharing the game. I really wish I, had the platform in place to be able to do that. At one point in time, I had a YouTube. It was trucking, like one-on-one, like how to tell people get their credit together and all that kind of stuff, where I was giving away free game, is actually what it was called. But I don't think we get free game enough from our people. It always comes with a fee. And I'll have a serious bone to pick with that mindset in general, because I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that kind of mindset. But I'm different when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I know that my blessings are going to come regardless. I have a lot of faith But yeah, that's just the bone that I would have to pick with our community in general. I would want us to do better about giving free game away instead of trying to charge, because we got youth out here that need direction, and we're not doing the best that we can do that. I
Mm.
feel like personally.
No, I love that. And that's an important discussion, I think, because so many people feel like, nah, like I gotta get something out of what I give. There's that point of view, which I think needs to be changed. And then also, young people not wanting to ask questions because they feel like the person they're asking questions from doesn't genuinely want to help without a fee. So we have to open up that, create that bridge where it's okay to be able to have discussions with people older than us, younger than us, same age as us, in order to learn and not expect anything in return, just kind of providing value. So I love that. So I wanted to ask you guys, just based off of some of the things we just talked about, and both of you guys, I would love for you guys to answer this question. So whoever wants to go first can go first. But what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? So this could be an investment of money, of time, of energy. I know both of you guys have had to make some big decisions in your life that have led you down a certain direction. So whoever wants to go first, I kind of want to just know what's the biggest and most valuable investment you've made thus far in your life. Y'all got a lot of more years to go, but so far.
I would say me, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping and just taking it. For me, I have children. So for me, it's my children.
Mm,
Just making sure that I instill it. Like it's situations. Even when I had a truck, I could have got on the road and took that truck and drove it every day and made tens of thousands of dollars in a month. But to me, spending time with my children was more important and has always and will always be important. And I understand as a business owner that there may have to be decisions that's made, but at least while they were young, I just wanted to make sure that I'm taking them to school every morning. I'm doing those things. And when I think of about a legacy, I think that the world can say whatever they want about Rob Godin Jr. or whatever you want to say, Robert. But if my kids don't have that to say, I haven't done anything. So to me, that's always going to be my most important thing, my most important legacy. Outside of that, I think they were my motivation to get up and work every day.
yeah.
Man, dealing with pain and things like that even now. But I'm getting up and I'm making sure that I'm going and I'm not stopping because of them. Because to be truthful, I probably would have stopped a long time ago. Like Darrell said, man, defeat, doubt, things have kicked in, and a lot of things, man, it hasn't always gone our way. And I think once we get a chance to really tell those things, we faced a lot of adversity, whether it was together or individually. But Nipsey said it, we just didn't give up. And I think that that's not said enough, and I'm sorry, I kind of want to add on to what Darrell was saying before you asked that question. I'm definitely involved with mentoring and different things like that. And I think it's very important to give back. But I also think as a community, it's important for us to understand that we don't have to always go the traditional route. There's podcasts, there's YouTubes. When I first started, man, I told you I read the Bible, but outside of reading the Bible, I'm listening to podcasts, how I built this. I'm listening to other entrepreneurs tell their journey. And eventually, after hearing them tell it enough and seeing that they started with less or the same amount that I started with, it gave me confidence to believe in myself, because I told myself, like I said, when I started approaching 30, that, I thought about, I think I heard it before, but you hear about the graveyard. You hear about when people die, that it's a lot of people that died with unfulfilled dreams and things like that. And I didn't want that to become that person. So for me, it was more important to take the chance and take the shot, even if I failed, than it was to sit there being stagnant and not doing anything. Like,
Yes,
who's
sir.
to say these businesses will ever be successful? I believe in God that He will always provide, but at the end of the day, I believe in the work that I myself that we put in to be, to start these businesses. It wasn't like we just overnight said, hey, we're just throwing these up. No, it took a lot of thought, it took a lot of effort, it took a lot of patience, it took a lot of L's, it took a little bit of everything. But knowing that while we're doing it, like I said, I can speak for myself. It has made the journey a little bit easier. It has made it waking up on those hard mornings when you get that discouraging news and things aren't going right, to wake up and say, all right, I'm gonna go after it today.
I love it. I love it. And Darrell?
I would have to second that. It definitely have to be my best investment to this day was investing in myself. Um, because ultimately my goal was to even in college I studied psychology. Um, and I just always been fascinated with people in general, how people think, how they act and behaviors and body language, all that kind of stuff. So I always knew my purpose, was to give back and to create for other people.
Hmm.
So I knew that obviously financially, when you own a business, you would have expectations at some point that you would be taken care of financially, financial freedom.
Yes,
But
sir.
I know that like currently my younger brother is currently working for us. I knew that last year I wanted to put him under my wing and to assure him, to teach him some things in life, and him being up under us in general, because he's up under Rob too, who is a great leader and a role model, that put some money in his pockets, but also, hey, if you can't always be under my wing and you're not gonna always be 20 years old, but you can learn how to conduct yourself in a business setting. You can learn how a business runs. And when I release you to the world, that's what I felt like, because I wanted to make sure I released him. Even my mom, she's super glad that I brought him up to the smoothie shop, because he's able to learn and grow and get some skills up under his belt. Um, so yeah, to go back to the question, I invested in myself, but more so it wasn't just about me, it was about my family, because I knew that if I did better for myself, the people around me would benefit from that as well. Still to this day, still grinding, still working towards that goal in general.
I love it. I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys are enjoying this conversation right now, so stay tuned. We will be back in just a few seconds. Yo, 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 what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for watching the College Stutzer Show. Keep tuning in. We're just taking a short commercial break right now. But if you are getting some water, getting some juice, getting some snacks right now, keep doing that. But make sure at the end of this episode that you like, subscribe, and share, as that is the only way we can grow. Thank you. Now back to regular scheduled programming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the commercial break. Hopefully everyone is feeling good, refreshed, got some lemonade, got some mint, some ginger tea or something, to get the system right. And if you are joining us for some reason at the halfway point today, we have Darrell and Rob on the show, chopping it up about where they're coming from, some of the businesses they've started. And right now we're about to jump into a little bit more in depth on the most recent business, or the way I met them. So let's talk about Jungle Juice Smoothie Bar. Let's talk about it. Can we start at, how did you guys come up with the idea, or what key insights or moment led you both to pursue this opportunity, and kind of just talk about the spark of this idea and how it transitioned into a brick and mortar?
So like Rob was saying earlier, man, we had so much dialogue in general. Just I remember that phone call where when he was initially in with the barbershop, where he still is owner with the barbershop, but we had just had conversations about what we would do in the future with each other. Um, so kind of along the lines of everything that Rob said before, it was just like we started to talk every day. From those conversations, we started to hold each other accountable with those conversations. Like, hey, do you really want to do this? And then it's kind of like, yeah, I think I do. And then after that, it was more so about, okay, let's put the action forward. So it kind of went from maybe a 30-minute talk every day to progressively that time might increase to all day conversations about smoothies, about how we're going to run this business, about the image we want to give out to the public, so that they can, how we want them to perceive us, um, about our purpose in general, like so many different things that we've talked about, the littlest, smallest things, attire. Like we talk about the littlest small, but it all matters when you have a public business like this, because how they view you is it basically is going to come down to how successful you are, because word of mouth to me is the best compliment that you can have.
Absolutely.
Um, but
Absolutely.
yeah.
And Rob, kind of like when you reflect back on, past few months, past few years of like the initial conversation transitioning to where you're at right now? Can you kind of break down what that looks like in your brain?
Yeah. So for me, like I said, it started off from a smoothie standpoint. It's really started off from something that we both do daily, that we both enjoy. Like the monkey in the middle was something which is an amazing product. I probably would have never put bananas, blueberries, and
Peanut butter.
peanut butter together in a smoothie, but it's definitely one of a favorite smoothie of mine there, and it's something that he was making at home. And it's, I mean, the Orange You Lion is something that I was doing at home, and we were making our own smoothies or actively going to smoothie shops, but it got deeper from there. It got to, and I don't know if we have time to fully address everything, but Darrell kind of talked about purpose. And when we talk about purpose, I think we're truly living in our purpose. I think we truly love people and we truly want to give back. We truly know the position we're in and we truly want to inspire the youth. If nobody gets anything else from me in life, I hope they get a little bit of inspiration, like it's possible. So I think that was part of it, but I also think the healthy lifestyle. I've lost several family members and we have a cleanse that's coming soon, and we plan to honor those family members. So not only are we living our purpose and with people we're trying to inspire, but with the products, they're all healthy. So, and they taste great. For me, I think that we sound a little bit biased, but we don't use sugars or anything like that. We use honey. And agave nectar is instead of artificial flavorings and things like that. So everything that we're doing is natural. Our juices, they have purpose, whether it's anti-inflammatory. Just to be completely honest, man, I was in a wreck, this week, and I was able to taste it, and I've tasted it before and I knew it worked, but I was able to kind of take, instead of medicine, taking our anti-inflammatory, and it has made me feel better. So knowing that our products have a purpose, knowing that the business has a purpose, I mean, it all came together at the right time. I believe it was just things that were ideas that we talked about, from, like he said, man, the smallest details, and to look and say, oh, we're doing some of those things, and to say, hey, how can we get to some of the other things that we discussed? It's something that truly came out of our heads a year ago and really became a real product. It's kind of, I would say it's kind of amazing to us too, to look at the process, man. The process is crazy, but I know a lot of us entrepreneurs, a lot of people in life, we look at that and we get so frustrated that we're not where we are. But if I look back, man, it was probably a funner time discussing the process and to get to where we are now. And now it's all business. So now sometimes it's pressure, sometimes it's frustration, sometimes it's trying to make the right decisions. Sometimes it's trying to make sure that we put the right face on in public and to make sure that our business is ran and operated the way we want to. So it is business. So even if I can give any jewel to any entrepreneur, enjoy the process. When you don't have the money, when you just have the dream, when you just have an ideal, enjoy that. Enjoy it becoming something, that you can put into fruition, something that you can make into a real object. Whatever it is your product is, just enjoy the process of it. If you don't have the money, I truly believe that God provides everything. So if you put yourself in position, if you are, working to make something happen, whatever you feel like you don't have, don't focus on that. There'll be a business partner, there'll be somebody else that comes along that has those items. Just focus on being prepared. Just make sure you're prepared for anything that comes in life. So if you say you want to play basketball and that opportunity comes and you haven't put the work in, it's going to show. I would say for me, it's always the preparation that makes the most sense. Behind the scenes, whatever you see in person, I'm always working. So I want to make sure that no matter what we put out, whether it's the cleanse, whatever it is, we're putting it out, and we're not just rushing products. We're making sure it's the right way. Even with the smoothies, we have food items, cleanses, and things on our menu, but we purposefully made sure we put out the smoothies and the juices first, because we wanted to make sure we were doing that correctly before we moved on. So just don't rush the process. Don't be scared of the challenges. Don't be scared of what you don't have. I think that's when creativity kicks in the most, when you don't have, because you're constantly thinking of ways to go around it, to get around it. How can I still get here even though I don't have this? Don't ever let the object that you don't have stop you from becoming or doing what you want to do. let that be a challenge to get better. Let that be a challenge to be greater. Let that be a challenge to come up with different ideas. Let that be a challenge to get in the books. Like I said, we didn't have traditional mentors in front of us. Like mine was, whether it was church, whether it was looking at podcasts, whether it was listening to other people tell things, whether it was just picking up ideas and different things from the way people move. Nipsey Hussle is somebody that I really like. And it wasn't just before he passed away. I really like the way he moved before. And you know, even with what we did, we didn't borrow money. We used our own money to get the shop up. You know, at points we will borrow, you know, different money and, you know, money and things like that to get to where we want to be. But we put our own up, you know, early on. So
skin in the game.
yeah, just do it your way. You know, it's no right or wrong way to do it. There's other juiceries, smoothie shops and things like that out there. Stay true to yourself. Like we just got a review that we didn't like yesterday. And it was different things in there that might have been true. And it was other things in there that it might not have fit the way that we wanted to do business. And I think that as an entrepreneur, I think, I'm sorry, I'm just, you know, as it comes to my mind.
You're good. Go ahead.
We just need to be focused on making sure your product looks the way that you want it to. You can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to be happy. As long as you're satisfied and you're happy, and the customers that like your product and that resonate with them, they'll keep coming.
Right.
But don't get so caught up in just trying to people please and every bad comment, like,
And
man,
be perfect, right?
Yeah, we can't be
because
perfect.
then you start getting manipulated by
Yeah.
by the masses instead of focusing on your truth and being authentic to what your journey was and your focus was from the beginning. So
Exactly.
I really love that. And speaking about customers, kind of wanted to ask you guys, just from business perspective, do you guys have like a core customer or like a specific market you're trying to track, just fitness people? Or are you really like broad, like, hey, we want everybody, we just want to create a family around health and wellness? Like, what's your guys' approach to like the type of customers you're shooting for? And then also seeing, like, you know, with that, in terms of business question, how are you guys acquiring customers? Is it referral only? Are you guys running ads? Like, just from a business side, for other business owners out there that might be interested, how do you guys approach those two things?
I'll let Darrell hit that first, and then I'll kind of come behind.
Well, we've had conversations, me and Rob did, about target audience in general. We've definitely, at first we kind of, I think we started off, it was more shifted towards like a fitness kind of thing, and then we kind of, moving forward, we were like, hey, no, we don't. We caught it early. It was super early, maybe like within like the first day or two. We kind of shifted and was like, hey, we don't want to just be, we don't want to just go convert towards anyone. We just want to promote healthy lifestyle in general. And I think that's why he kind of stated, with his aunt that passed away with the cleanse, hey, he called me, you know, not too long ago, and he's fresh off the funeral a few days ago. So he called me, you know, about last week and was like, I don't know how you're gonna feel about it, but I would like to make this cleanse that, you know, is getting created. I would like to dedicate it towards my aunt. I said, bro, I have no problem with that, because what are we doing it for to begin with? Let's put a real meaning behind it as well. So, and we both agreed to that. So just going along with that, that's, I mean, I would just say, you know, we promote healthy lifestyle in general. We just want people to do better and be the best that they can be within themselves.
Yes,
And
sir.
we just happen to provide that service. And you know, we're always open for suggestions. We're always open. We ask all the time our customers that come in, like, because they give a lot of feedback. They're very vocal, whether it's yay or nay, they're very vocal. And a lot of more times than anything, it's yay. Like, we don't get too many complaints or anything, you know, that goes against positivity towards us. But when it does happen, we take it on the chin and we grow from that. We don't look at that like, oh, screw them. Like, it's personal because we want to be great. You know, it's only personal because we want to make it right with them. We
That's a
want
bar.
them to have a great experience. So yeah, I mean, I would like to answer the question. Yeah, we want to contribute towards everyone, not just a specific person.
I
I
love it.
think I think to answer, to go behind him and not to take anything away, I think everything he said is absolutely what it was. But we had a conversation about being a juice spot. About our goal was never to be like it to never be the popular place to go or, you know, the hot spot. As far as from that end, our goal was to like really have a purpose. So, you know, one of the things, and I think when you came in, you kind of felt it. One of the things that we wanted to create was that good environment.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in here, you can feel it. You can feel whether it's love, whether you feel invited. We wanted to make sure that space that you come into, that anybody and everybody can come in and feel welcome. So I think that was first and foremost, that anybody can come in and get a smoothie, and whether it was the casual smoothie drinker, whether it was a person who's never drank a smoothie, I think they can come in and enjoy it, or whether it's the person who drinks smoothies and this is a part of their lifestyle, they can come in. I think, and I'm just going to be truthful, I think this is the moment where it is. We are a Black-owned business in Lee Summit. And that was honestly a part of our hesitancy. We never marketed on our Facebook pages. I'm not on Facebook, but our Instagram pages or anything like that, because we never wanted that image. You know, we wanted the image of, yes, we are Black, but it's not just for Black people. It's for all people, all walks of life. Everybody is welcome here. And not to say we aren't proud of who we are. We're definitely proud of who we are. We just didn't want the wrong people to hear that and then limit who we were, and people get that image of, oh, this is Black owned, like I can only support it if I'm Black, or just those people who want to support Black businesses. No, we want you to come in there because we have good products. We want you to frequent the place because the products on the menu are good for you. They're healthy. They taste good. They taste great. We didn't, and then we never wanted it to be about Darrell and Robert. We never wanted it to be about RJ and DJ. However you know us, it was never about us. We always had purpose. We kind of put ourselves back, you know, and then it wasn't until recent that we say, you know what, this is our business. We're proud of what we created. We're proud of what we're doing, and we're going to get the word out however it is. But when we get that chance to speak on it, you know, we'll be able to speak on why. So I think, you know, for people, just knowing that, hey, this is a product for everybody. Everybody's welcome, and I think we have something to offer for everybody, whether it's a cleanse, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's an item off the food menu,
or a vibe, because that's what I like about the spot.
But
yes,
yeah,
sir. I love that. I love that. And I think everything you said, like when somebody comes in, they can kind of tell, like in terms of y'all not wanting it to be just about you guys, or like how you guys know you, or about it being like the next Black-owned business in town. Like it was really about having quality products, a quality environment, and providing, like, like you said, it's a lifestyle brand, like providing this health and wellness lifestyle to the community and whoever comes into it. Because I had no idea about it till somebody I follow from the fitness perspective, just because I'm a personal trainer, popped up. I saw that, and then I was like, oh, that looks like a dope spot. I'm gonna go check it out. Pulled up. I was like, oh, got some brothers in here. What's up? Like,
yeah,
and then,
because it's no, my bad. I'll let you.
No, you're good. You're good, King. Because I'm just chopping up. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying it's bigger than us, you know, and I never really cared. Rob, you know, will probably say the same thing. I never really cared to have my face on it, you know. It's much bigger than us. I'm proud to be Black. I love who I am within myself. That's not about color to me. But like Rob said, we did have reserves when it came to that area that we were in. Hey, what are the possibilities with us even showing face around here, or even claiming this business, you know, that we believe is going to be very successful? What are the reservations with us doing that? Will we be welcomed with open arms? And I would say a lot of our clientele is, you know, white, or they're Caucasian, you know. And I went to Blue Spring South. I'm from the area, so to say that, it's more so just like, it was pretty surprising to me in general how the area has welcomed us.
yeah.
Super thankful, super appreciative. We did an event at Blue Spring South. Coach Jimmy Kane, who was actually my high school coach, he's the athletic director there. He's a white male, and he just set up the whole table for us. Just let us come out there. And we went to work. We got busy, you know. We did another event at Lee Summit North. I wasn't there, but Rob and my dad, they were there present, you know, in representation for us. And they did their thing over there. So as much as we thought it was a big deal about our color, it wasn't a big deal at all, you know. But as Black men growing up, you never know. You always have to put that on the table and be honest about yourself. Am I going to be liked in this kind of community in front of these people because of my color? But I do want to shout out the city of Lee Summit, Kansas City itself, who's came out to show us everybody, because y'all didn't make it about color. Y'all made it about
Sir.
the product. So I do want to
100%.
give a thanks to that as well.
I just want to second that to that really fast. Just on what Darrell just said, man, it's so true. Like, we were hesitant. That was a conversation that we had early on about marketing. And I know you asked a question about marketing. We ultimately opened it up, but we were scared. You know, we didn't know how we were going to be received, and we never intended to open it up with pretty much us. Just timelines and hiring just didn't happen fast enough because we had so many dates and things that we were working on behind the scenes. And we opened it, and I'm grateful that for that experience, because it showed us that if you're genuine, if you're a genuine person, which I feel like me and Darrell really are, and I'm sure you've interacted with us, so you know that it doesn't really matter. You know, don't get me wrong, we've had customers walk in and walk out, and I feel like it was because of color. So you're going to get those people. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you that everything's going to be great. But for the most part, the city of Lee Summit has really embraced us, and we're by 2 gyms. So we're by Burns Boot Camp, which is a women's boot camp, and then Total Body Fitness. Their customers really like us, and you know, they really come down and they really support. But we are so grateful for the city of Lee Summit and for Kansas City as a whole for supporting us. And we just want you guys to be on the lookout for what's coming, because what's out now is just a part of what we're doing. And you know, we have a purpose, and we just definitely want to get more involved with the community as well. So
yeah, and on that same topic, first off, you know, shout out to you for finding that location, by the way. I remember I pulled up, I was like, damn, this is a good ass location for a juice spot. I was like looking around, I was like, dang, like they killed it with this location. So, you know, shout out to God for that too, because obviously it all comes down to faith, right? But speaking of that, you know, looking at your roadmap moving forward for the business, what are some of the milestones you're kind of targeting over the next 3 to 6 months that you're open to sharing? I'm sure some stuff is, you know, under wraps, but you know, anything over the next 3 to 6 months, what are you guys looking at accomplishing? What are you guys looking at launching? Like, of course, like I said, that you're willing to share.
I would say, so for the next 3 to 6 months, really in the next couple of weeks, in the next month, we're hoping to have this cleanse it rolled out, you know, which really helps with diet, just cleansing as a whole. And then we hope to open up our kitchen. So right now, I would say we're probably operating at 40-50% capacity. We're hoping to operate at 100% capacity. We're hoping to do a couple things, some exciting things as far as the neighborhood for the summer, being able to have it, you know, more visible and more ready for people to come. And I just think smoothies and things like that, people are going to support more in the summer anyway.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say. I would let Darrell kind of hit it and, you know, give his input on it too.
Well, yeah, you pretty much said what I was going to say about, you know, the beginning of our kitchen being open. We're super excited about that.
Me too.
Because we have some really tasty things that are going to be on that menu. We even talked about some desserts. You know, we're trying to figure out a healthy dessert that we can, you know, kind of implement on there. But everybody like has a cheat day. You know, we're in between 2 gyms. Come get your cheat meal from us. You know, so but no. Aside from that, I would say just this is just personal, just between, you know, from out of my mouth. I would love to do something back to schoolish. I don't know how to make that happen yet. But hopefully with this podcast, someone can hear this and they might have some insight that I don't know, or that we don't know in general. So that we can make something like that happen. We have a really big lot. We have yet to talk to our surrounding neighbors to see if they will be okay with that. So that will be something that will have to be figured out as well. But if we can arrange something like that in general, I'm just speaking out to the masses of people, the thousands and thousands of people that are going to be watching this in general. If we can get something back to schoolish, bikes, backpacks, whatever for the kids, let's get it done, because Jungle Juice Smoothie Bar is very open to making that happen as well.
I think on the other end of what he's saying, and I'm sorry, I just want to let everybody know we are very approachable. We are very open. Obviously, we can't do everything, but please come to us with ideas. We can't do everything ourselves, but if we could partner together with the other businesses in the community, other entrepreneurs, just other people, we definitely want to inspire and give back. So please don't hesitate to, go on the website, go to our email and just kind of inquire and shoot the ideas to us as well.
I love it. I love it. Man, and there's so much, like, from the beginning of this conversation when we were discussing trucking and athletics to the motivational side of things in life and the challenges and obstacles of both life and entrepreneurship to the business. So many things I want to discuss. So my audience often catches me saying this, and I do mean it. And whether it's in 100 episodes or 10 episodes, we definitely going to have to do a part 2 because there's so much more I want to talk about. But I'm gonna wrap up with these last 2 questions today. You guys have shared a great amount of advice throughout this episode, but from each of you guys, what would be like one last piece of advice that you would give to a, smart, driven college student or high schooler that's about to enter the real world? And what advice do you think they should ignore? So it's a 2-part question. What's like one piece of advice you'd give them, for an 18-year-old about to enter the real world, about to go out on their own? And then on the flip of that, what's some advice you think that they should ignore? Obviously, there's no right or wrong answers. This is just personal.
I would say, and I'm sorry, Darrell, I would just say
No,
that
you good.
for everybody, when I came up, there was a cookie cutter way to do it. You have to go to college. You have to do it. Everybody's roadmap, everybody's life is going to end up different. And don't hesitate to take your own journey. And don't feel like you need everybody else's validation. Like, my journey probably made no sense to anybody else, but looking to where I'm headed to, I think it's starting to make sense. It didn't make sense to me. So I would say that. And then I would just say on the other end of it, not to say you don't listen to it, but don't let that discourage you from being who you are. But on the other end of it, I would just say, be open. Be open. It's going to be sometimes people talk to you about things. It sounds like criticism. Just be open. I know for me, my journey probably took 10 more years because of how stubborn I was. If I'm going to be honest, like, if I'm going to use a platform like this to speak, I'm going to use it to speak the truth. I was that stubborn person that you wasn't going to tell me anything. I wanted to do it my way, and life had to come humble me in different ways. And then, as you grow up and you mature, you don't want to learn every lesson the hard way. So now if somebody says something to me, I'm more willing to listen. Will I apply it? That depends on how much sense it makes to me, but at least I'm going to try to hear it.
I love that. I love that. And Darrell?
And I would say, for that 18-year-old that's lost in the world, that doesn't know what they got going on, that doesn't have a direction, I would say, man, on that pursuit, sometimes we don't know what we're pursuing in general, especially at that age. I would say stay true to yourself. Always make sure you're happy within yourself. Always make sure that always make sure you're giving out what you want to receive to other people as well. And I would say to just always keep that faith. Of course, so many times in general, people don't know their direction in life. They don't know their purpose, so they get lost. And when you get lost, it's very hard to find direction on how to turn around and go the right way. So I would say that for that 18-year-old that doesn't know where they're going or thinks they know where they're going, I would just say love yourself, give yourself grace, give yourself time for error, because nobody's perfect. But to also hold yourself accountable when you make mistakes so that you don't make the same mistake again as well.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Those are both powerful statements. Thank you for that. And, this is a question I ask all my guests at the end of every episode. So, hear me out and think about this answer. No rush on the answer. So whoever wants to go first again can answer this last question. And before I ask it again, just want to say how grateful I am for you guys making time today. I know both of you guys are in the middle of a work day. I know Rob mentioned you got some kids too, so I know that can add into a busy life as well. And I just want to say thank you for you guys coming in here, being open to tell your story, share some gems with the audience, and talk a little bit about your business. And of course, we wish you much success. And I'll be definitely, every time I can, swing by over there. At least I'm gonna get some drinks. And I'm sure in the future, other locations will be opening up and I'll be there too. So much love to y'all for that. So it's your last day on earth. You're 110 years old. You've lived a long, fulfilled life. You've gotten to do everything you want to do. opened up whatever businesses you've wanted. They've been able to be successful. You've been able to feed your children, make sure they live a good life. You've done everything you wanted to do, but it's your last day. You're sitting in your rocking chair. You know you're about to go, and your great grandchildren are sitting at your feet, and one of them asks you, great grandpa Rob, great grandpa Darrell, what's one piece of advice on how to live a good life? What are you guys going to say?
For me, I know I'm kind of answering fast, but as you were talking, I was just kind of thinking about it. I would say put God first. I mean, nothing is going to be perfect in any situation, but if I'm, I'm hoping that, I'm living to inspire, but I'm also hoping that I'm living to be a vessel for God. So when you see me, hopefully, I mean, I have my moments, I'm human, that you see me as a vessel for spreading his word, for spreading positivity, for inspiring. So I would say that's for me.
Powerful. And Darrell?
I would say, I would let my great grandkid know that, hey, once, like I said before, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I'm a really big fan of how you treat other people, and I believe that how you treat other people will come back to you in general. Some people call it karma, whatever that looks like. But I would tell my great grandkid to have that faith, like Rob just said, in God as well. Have that faith, and to just go hard for what you believe in. And then that's really just it, honestly.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, thank you guys so much again for sharing. Like I said, some powerful gems, sharing a little bit about your guys' story, and really just, providing an opportunity for young bucks to learn. And I'm sure this episode will live on for many years. So it'll be dope for you guys to be able to double back and listen to this, to see where you were at 10 years ago in 2032 and seeing what's happening now versus what's happening then. So proud of you guys. I'm always continue to support. Glad I got to meet you, Darrell, today. So it's been a pleasure. Before we sign off, is there any last words? Can you guys definitely share where people can find you on social media and obviously your website? So share that so they can support you. And then outside of that, if there's anything else you'd like to share, feel free.
Darrell, I'll let you say all the website and information and stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, we just want to let you know we appreciate you for bringing us on. We're grateful for the opportunity. So.
Love.
Yeah, no, definitely greatly appreciate you, King. Just the opportunity for you to even want us to express ourselves and to let people know, or to tell our journey in itself. That speaks highly about our footsteps in life in general and where God has taken us. So, I'm thankful that you even put us, that you put us on your platform. You can reach us at, Instagram, Jungle Juice Smoothie Bar. TikTok, it's the same, Jungle Juice Smoothie Bar. On Facebook, it should pop up as Jungle Juice and Smoothie Bar. But you might see they make you create like a business page attached to like a personal page. So our personal page would be the RG and DB Investments. That's Robert Gaud, and then DB would be me, Darrell Booker. But Jungle Juice and Smoothie Bar should be the business page that pops up if you type it in. And then Twitter as well. Jungle Juice SMO is what it is.
Jungle Juice SMO. I love it. And you
address.
might.
Sorry. My bad. I was going to get the address.
No, drop the address for them. Let them know.
My bad. So we're located at 3680 Northeast Atkins Drive. We're Suite 136 in Lee Summit, Missouri.
Absolutely.
And then our telephone number, so you can reach out to us by phone, online orders, 816-272-0180. And website is junglejuicesmoothiebar.com.
Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, run the last 25 seconds back, write that shit down, follow them, do what you got to do. Let's make sure we're supporting them for the next 50 years because, business is going on forever. You dig what I'm saying? But again, Rob, Darrell, thank y'all, man. And audience, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you leave a 5-star review if you've enjoyed this conversation. More importantly, make sure you follow them. Show up at their store if you guys are ever in town, or if you already live here in town. And if neither of those, I hope you guys were inspired and something one of these two individuals said impacted you in a positive way today. This is your host, CIZZY, you dig, signing out.